because I'm changing the name. So that will be announced soon. So I'm doing a little bit of a rebrand, a refresh. And so the podcast I have is all about sharing the fan stories. So what makes Star Wars special to you? Because we all know not everyone likes the same movie or show, right? But that's okay. It's okay. It's okay because different things resonate with us differently. And so what I'm trying to do with my podcast is help bring the fandom together a little bit and understand, even if I don't like this movie or this show, this person does for this reason. And so that's what I do over on Tales of the Force, which will be renamed soon. Not yet. So you all can still follow it as Tales of the Force, and then I would say in the next week or so I'll have an announcement for that. So it's exciting. I'm joined by these lovely women that are also huge proponents of the Star Wars fandom, and they all bring, I think, just such a great light and something. Each of them have very unique things about them that they bring to the table, and we have the one and the only
She's so long and shiny. This is so awesome. She is. Thank you, Bobby, for getting your name. Round of applause for Bobby. Yes, round of applause. Hey, Bobby, how's it going?
Welcome. Hello. And I'm losing my voice, you guys, so if it cracks. It is what it is. Welcome. Did you get your stuff?
Yes.
So, each of these ladies bring something amazing to the fandom, and I respect all of them very much. A lot of them I wouldn't have been brave enough to start at 35 doing what I'm doing because it's hard to get into this sometimes, and you get worried about what people are going to think about you, what makes a fan, are you a good enough fan? And seeing these women do what they do has been very inspiring to me. So I want to thank you guys for what you do because it is important. Each and every one of you brings something a little different, and I love that very much. So if you all want to introduce yourselves and kind of talk about what you do and that sort of thing.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Tiara. I have my page called Crafting on Film, and I do what I like to do is conventions, cosplay, crafting, and everything in between. As you can see right now, I have my Triller cosplay. I also have a YouTube channel where I vlog all my experiences in the process for my cosplay. So if that is interesting to you. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Isabella. Online, I'm known as Isabella Amidala. I share a lot of cosplay as well as Disney bounding or closet cosplay, so I like to have a blend of both things that are just pulled straight out of my closet that I already own, as well as stuff that I hand make, because I think cosplay should always be accessible, and I try to be as welcoming and open to new fans as I can, because as a girl in the Star Wars community, it can be a little rough sometimes. But yeah, I love sharing cosplay. I'm also a huge collector. I'm a prequel baby, so anything and everything prequels is my jam. And my husband is an artist, so he makes like Star Wars pins, patches, stickers. We do have a booth here. We're 802, so if you want to come see us after,
check it out.
We'll be there all weekend. We also did exclusives just for the show.
They have the sickest pins and stickers.
No, thank you. But yeah, so we get to travel around the U.S. We do different conventions. I get to cosplay. We get to share our art and be a part of this community that we love so much. So that's me.
My name is Carly King. I do YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos, and I have a podcast, and I host a lot of panels at different conventions. My favorite Star Wars is the original 3 movies. I love them very, very dearly. I grew up with them. And then I got into the prequels a little bit later, which is cool. I love the prequels, but the originals are definitely my favorite. And then I teach people how to use a lightsaber on the internet, and that's about it.
Hi guys, my name is Chanel. I am half of Balancing the Forces. There's my other half right there. There he is. So we are a cosplay and comedy duo. We kind of work together to bring like both of our talents. I am a seamstress, a prop maker, and an actress. He is a writer, actor. I'm gonna bring him in just because it's a thing. An actor, writer, and so we kind of combine our two talents, and it just fell together, complements it very well. He writes all of our sketches, I make all of our costumes, and we just try to have fun and create a really positive space for people to enjoy what they love. Like, obviously we're big Star Wars people, a lot of our page is Star Wars, but we pretty much put anything that we love on there. Anything that someone might connect with, anything that might bring another person joy. If it's bringing us joy, we're gonna put it out there and hope it brings some other people joy. So I'm really excited to be here. Thanks guys, thanks for having me.
Hi guys, I'm Hilda. I have a YouTube channel called The Appetite for Collectibles. Been interviewing several Star Wars celebrities for over the past 4 years. My page is cosplaying, just collectibles. I did a panel last year with Gabe where we did high-end collecting. And I got into the fandom because my mom showed me the Empire Strikes Back when I was 6 years old, and that's how I learned to speak English when I first came, here. But yeah, it's the reason why I love Star Wars is because of that.
And you collect a lot of autographs and things too, which is
I
incredible.
think today is gonna hit 100.
Oh my gosh, wow. That deserves some applause.
The skin of celebrities that I have. Which one was actually, it was JSA with Ashley Epstein, the actor, the tattoo artist, and with me.
Yeah, you've been JSA authenticated, like your body.
Yes.
That's amazing.
What?
Ashley here, and then I have Rosario over here. I got JSA.
That's awesome. We're like, I'm official.
They sent the certificate over and it was funny, and then I have it in a video that Ashley had said that if I die, my one piece of my skin has to go to her. We're still trying to figure that out. We talked about it with Tierra and I talked to her about it in Phoenix and she wants her skin on a frame.
Well, this took a turn here first. Quick, I mean, might not be quick, but we'll keep it quick so we can get through some meatier things. I think everyone kind of talks about how we get into the fandom, but how did you guys decide to stay as adults? What drew you to stay the Star Wars fan that you are and make it what you kind of do, even if it's a passion or a hobby or for work, but like what kept you in Star Wars?
I've loved Star Wars since I was a really young kid. My dad took me out of school to go watch Revenge of the Sith in movie theaters. It was an amazing experience, and then I think like a lot of us, we kind of just fall out of it as we get older. Maybe it's not like super cool to like Star Wars in high school or junior high. But I think during COVID time, I didn't have a whole lot going on like many of us, and I wanted to watch something that was comforting, so I threw on Clone Wars, and then I had no idea that Rebels was the show, and I started watching that, and I fell in love again with Star Wars. And I like to do like sketches and stuff, so I started sketching my own like fandom art for Rebels and Clone Wars, and then I started my page specifically just for that, and then it kind of just blossomed into my crafting and my cosplay and all that stuff because I was so inspired by like similar pages like Isabella and Harley and Chanel and Nilda, and it was just inspiring to see the creativity that they put out there for all of us. So yeah, that's how I got started.
Awesome. So I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me, so he was definitely like target peak age for the prequels. So I have a lot of fond memories of playing with my brother, my cousin. We would play, one side would have lightsabers, the other side would have blasters, and we'd run around the house and jump off the bed and do all that. But like you were saying, like kind of when you're younger, you're really in it, and then you get a little bit older, you kind of fall off. But when I started dating my husband now, I started dating in high school, and he was like, yeah, so like, I kind of like Star Wars. And I was like, okay. He kind of likes Star Wars, like, well, everybody likes Star Wars, right? And I think he was like a little scared for me to see his room at first, because he had everything. Oh my God, like floor to ceiling, everything Star Wars. But my dad grew up building like model cars. So my dad's office is floor to ceiling model cars. So like I was like, yeah, like every guy has their thing, a collectible thing. But I was like, that's cool. So I had seen all the movies. I hadn't really seen the TV shows. But he was like, let's sit down and like let's watch all the movies. So I sat down again. This was like I think end of high school. And we watched the first 6 because the sequels weren't out yet. But I remember finishing Revenge of the Sith. I don't know, something just clicked. I think that movie is so profound. That's my favorite movie. Watching it as an 18-year-old versus an 8-year-old is definitely a different experience because you relate a lot more to that story. You're like, whoa, like it has a lot of very deep, serious topics. Which hat off to George because it's incredible how he taught that lesson and made it PG-13. But that's kind of how I got back into it. And we were like, okay, let's watch Clone Wars, let's watch Rebels. And it just snowballed. It just like kept going. And I haven't stopped since. Star Wars is my whole life now.
Story. Back in 2001, I was born.
It all started.
It all started when I was born. No,
I feel so old right now.
oh, so bad. Well, so what's funny is I was born in the era of the prequels, but I grew up with the originals. My entire family we're all nerds about something. My dad loved Star Trek and of course Star Wars, but he was like, you should watch Star Trek. And I was like, no, I'm good. Now I love Star Trek, I will say. Star Trek is so good, underrated.
We can love both.
We
It's
can
okay.
love both. We can love both. And when I was very young, yeah, exactly. My uncle actually collected these, and he still does, but like these life-sized Star Wars statues, like Don Post, and I would be so small, like 3 years old, looking up at Han Solo and Carbonite, being like, "What are you?" Or Boba Fett, and like, "You're so cool," or whatever. And like C-3PO, R2-D2, Baby Anakin, pod racing suit, like he had everything. And so I grew up going over to my cousin's house because he was like a brother to me. Like all of my cousins were like brothers to me. And so I would go over to their house, see these statues, build these Legos, play with these Force Effects lightsabers from like the early 2000s and beat them to shreds. And I specifically remember because they had this theater room playing the original Battlefront games. And specifically like the OG Battlefront 2. So good. Best spin level, best spin as a layout, which is the best. But I remember those moments of being with family and growing up, it was always there. It was like that common denominator with everybody, which is Star Wars. And throughout, elementary school and middle school and then high school, we're doing school, so there's like, you can't really do YouTube or like do anything, but I always looked up to YouTubers and I always wanted to do it. I just never thought like I could, so I'd make like these little videos here and there. And then eventually quarantine happens. I'm in theater school and I had to drop out of college because it was just getting too hard. You can't learn theater online. You kind of have to be in person for it. So I was like, what can I do? What do I do during quarantine? And I ended up rewatching Star Wars from the beginning to the end, and as you do, as everyone probably did here in this room, I was like, this is my solace, like this is my comfort. And then I started falling in love with just like throughout quarantine, like 2020, 2021, I fell in love with how they were made. So the people behind Star Wars. Star Wars is amazing, the plot is incredible, but it's the people behind it who make it what it is. Like, it's such an incredible, just collaborative experience with everybody. So eventually I started making content on TikTok. I made the lightsaber videos where I went on the beach and I spun it and I put it to music, and that kind of went crazy. And I was just like, what's happening? Like I went to bed and I woke up with like these views from people and opinions, and I was like, this is insane. So I kept doing it, and I started YouTube, and that's what I fell in love with. And then I started going to cons and randomly got sucked into moderating, and I started meeting people who I looked up to throughout my entire life, and it was just a transformative experience. So I guess getting to your question about like sticking with it now as an adult, it's all in the people who bring it to life, because these are some of the best people you'll ever meet. Like everyone out there, like Matthew Wood, David Collins, Piero, like Lauren Peterson, who's right outside the store. I have chills just thinking about it. Like, yes, props for Lauren. These people are absolutely incredible, and I look up to them, and that's what's kept me with it. Because no matter what I've been through, those people have been there for me. So that's why I'm here. Yeah.
All right, y'all. I think I came out the womb a nerd. So I've been just like, I was very, I'm very grateful to have grown up in a household and in an environment that did never make me feel weird for what I liked. I was definitely a freaking weird kid. Like, I loved all the nerdy things. I loved Star Wars. I loved Doctor Who. I loved Marvel. I loved Harry Potter. I loved like everything that like is like quintessential nerd. I pretty much dabbled in throughout my childhood and all the things, right? But Star Wars was always one of like the bigger ones growing up, and it was kind of a fun thing because it was something that like my dad did like it, but I had two younger brothers, so I kind of always was like a spearhead for like what we watched, which was great. And so like definitely like watched all the Star Wars, watched all these movies, and like again, I would just classify myself growing up as like a well-rounded nerd, like touching on everything, right? But I always admired Star Wars. I'm a costume designer. That is, I tripped and fell into social media, you guys. We love doing what we do, right? Me and Richie, we love doing it, but our main jobs, we work in production, we work in the film industry, in theater, and I've been working as a costume designer in the film industry for the past 4 years, something like that, since I graduated. So what really drew me to Star Wars was this world that has been created, whether or not it was the prequels, where they used nothing but a blue wall to make everything, from the originals, where they made these beautiful practical effects, which I'm so happy they're bringing back, because how cool is it when you just see the alien on screen just like walk in front of you in real life, and like the dedication that I've seen from some of the fans, I'm like, you guys could just be on the film sets tomorrow, right? And some of them do, 501st, whatever, they get called on, but that's really what drew me to Star Wars, is that I would just find a new costume. I want to make every Padme costume. I want to make every one. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen, all right? I'm going to have a checklist. It's going to happen. And so I just never ran out of things to be inspired by. Every film, I am also an original trilogies stan, but again, I'm also a big fan of the prequels. I mean, come on, like, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And there is something for everybody in this fandom, right? So it's always been part of my life, but kind of similar to Isabella, like, it's always been a huge part. I've always been a nerd. Then I met this guy right here, this nerd right here. And our first time meeting, we just started talking about Star Wars, and I was like, yo, like, I mean, if you want, like, I could like make you a Luke Skywalker costume, like, if you want, like, it's whatever. And that's how I got it, guys, that's how you do it. Right? So, and then from there, it's just been this, like, shared love. That's another thing that has kept me in the fandom, is this shared love with people, whether or not it's this shared love with my partner, it's shared love with my friends. It is something that brings everybody together, and I get so excited when I meet someone who loves the same things and we get to geek out. Like, I think it's really just the community and the world that's been built, and the awesome that I've got to meet through this fandom. So thanks for being so fun and talking to me again. I don't even know how to continue.
so like I said, I learned how to speak English because of Star Wars. My brother and I grew up with extremely hippie Hispanic parents, and our dad was a very big collector, so we were constantly hitting like vintage stores. And I remember the first little figure my dad got me was a Luke Skywalker figure, and that was the reason why I fell in love with white men with blue eyes. And that's why I like a white man with blue eyes. I found one. Yeah. But yeah, so just so that was one of the big issues with it. But like how Isabella said it, when I first was in high school and like dating, I was afraid to like show boys that I
Like, can I tell them?
Yeah, I was like,
say.
I was like, should I show you guys my toy room? And I felt awkward about it. Yeah, and I remember the first boyfriend I had in high school, I showed him my collectible room, which was like OT figures, and I had Funkos, and he was like, you're kind of weird. I was like, I'm not weird. Get him out! So eventually, like, there was a comic book store by my house, and they had like the trading cards and gaming, and I started making friends there. And finally got to learn who my actual people were. So just doing that, I got to be around a whole bunch of collectors as well, and then eventually started doing the cons, kind of like what Harley said it, and just getting to learn amazing people like Tierra, where we shared probably one of the most emotional experiences ever with Ashley I've seen last year at Fan Expo. And just what drew me to still continue doing this at 38 is just the love of how a community like this, everybody just has one thing in common, and that's Star Wars.
Yeah. Those are all great answers. So we all know that female characters, they have a place in Star Wars, and we see a lot of strong women. But what do you feel like your impact as a woman has been to the fandom? Or what would you like your impact to be? Anyone can start. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, I can start, yes. Yeah, I guess, growing up in like the early 2000s, it was like, you're not expected to like nerdy things, I guess. There's a stereotype that's like, oh, you're a girl, you don't know anything. But anyways, I'm gonna talk to you, you're a guy. And it's like, no, I will fully recite the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise and tell you like all these things. I will tell you the engine that is the engine for the Millennium Falcon and Star Commando. And yeah, but it was always a weird kind of removed kind of feeling that wasn't fun, because you want to experience these things too. And thank God I had my cousins and my family who loved these things with me and didn't treat me like I was like an outsider. And that's a big thing about what I love about these cons is like, we're all outsiders. We're here because we're outsiders. And we just love this stuff. And yeah, it's tough now, especially when there's like the people who talk down on women on the internet now they're very loud. And unfortunately, it's a thing that just happens and we have to deal with. Yeah, I don't know, what about you guys?
I do have thoughts.
And we can get to that.
Yeah. I totally feel you on that. And I think what's really helped me is just thinking like, I was bullied for all the things that I liked growing up. Okay, so I went to a Catholic school. I was an emo kid, so I wasn't allowed to dye my hair. I couldn't wear black skinny jeans to school. So a lot of the things that I liked, I kind of kept to myself. I didn't share my music interests. I didn't express myself through fashion. The books that I liked reading, nobody liked reading. The movies I liked were too nerdy. So like, I didn't really get to really experience fandom and fandom culture in person until I went to my first Comic-Con in 2015, so San Diego Comic-Con. That was culture shock, because that is the con, right? So that was crazy, but that's where I fell in love with cosplay, and I was like, you can wear costumes on days other than Halloween. Like, I was so excited. I'm a big fashion person, so I really found my personal style, like my normal clothes that I wear every day. I found it through fandom. I found it through cosplaying, and I've learned, you know, like, not everyone's gonna like you, and that's fine. That was a hard lesson to learn, because as humans, you know, we want everyone to like us, or, you know, we want everyone to get along.
There's some people that you don't need to like.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Actually, dislike me. That's
But that's just one of the things that I've had to learn, and like even outside of social media and things, like same thing at work, same thing at school. Like, you know, not everyone's gonna like you, and that's totally fine. Focus on the people that do like you and do get you and do understand you, and just hold on to those people, because that's what keeps me going for sure.
And so that's what you try to kind of portray.
Yeah, I really try to encourage people as much as I can to get into cosplay, or even just like wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Like, I know that is a big step for a lot of people. They're like, well, they're gonna think it's weird, or like, I don't know if people at work, like, they're gonna know I like Star Wars, or whatever fandom it is. Just be unapologetic, just be yourself, because you only have one life, honestly. And if you keep things in too much, like, you're not living your life to the fullest. So like, be weird, be nerdy, like, be yourself, and you will attract your tribe. And I feel like I've really done that. I'm very grateful that I have had very positive experiences with other fans, and not just the girls, but a lot of awesome guys too. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think something that I really like to bring to the fandom, like with men and women alike, is like, I just want to be able to like laugh and have fun. I hope that when people watch our content, they're having fun. And they are like really being able to like almost dive deeper into this content or into this fandom, right? I think my favorite thing to hear when I meet someone in person at a con is when they're like, oh my gosh, I love your videos, and I send these back and forth with my mom, it's like our favorite thing, and it makes us laugh. And I'm like, that's great. If that's all that comes out of us making these silly Star Wars sketches, then that's all I need, right? I just want to and also just making people feel comfortable. Like, the things that we do are like, they're silly. They're silly and stupid, right? But like in the best way. And I hope, yeah, right. And I just hope that like some people can come up and be like, hey, I kind of wish that I had the courage to do something like that, and through watching you like be vulnerable and put yourself out there, I was able to take a step towards something I wanted to do, right? You inspired me to start cosplaying, you inspired me to start like going to conventions, something. As long as I made you laugh and made you feel brave enough to do something you were scared to do, then I'm happy.
It's kind of the trickle-down effect, right? Because like growing up watching Star Wars, that inspired us, and then now it's like, how can we inspire?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's been an amazing byproduct of like doing this fun thing that we do, right? So I'm excited about it. Well, you need the mic.
I think what I try to bring into Star Wars is being a woman. As you guys can see, I am not a skinny woman. I'm a thick Latina. And usually on the internet, I get called fat about 10 to 20 times a post I make. And I just try to laugh it off and just try to make women think that it doesn't matter what size you are. You could be black, white, you could be 700 pounds, 82 pounds. You are accepted whatsoever. You should be proud of how you look. And if you like Star Wars, by all means, like it. And if it's somebody else's thing that they don't like, it doesn't matter. That you should just still be accepted for who you are and not be made fun of. So I try on my page to constantly, I kind of stopped doing it, but I used to make like funny videos, like mocking the people that would call me fat. Like I would post videos funny about them, but then I stopped because it just got annoying. But I think as human beings, it shouldn't even be like as, you know, male or female. I just think as human beings, if we're putting ourselves out there on the internet, people should have some form of respect. And if you don't like it, then, just swipe left or swipe right or, go up. You don't have to comment, you're fat. For a while I watched Isabella getting viciously attacked when we talked about this last Rebel Scum. And it's sad. And I just think as human beings, we should probably do a little bit better. So I like, this group of women, I see we always try to do something positive, and I think that's what we should continue doing.
I want to add to that really quickly. I'm so sorry. I really want to hear from you. Just on that point about like being positive with fandom right now, it's so tough because if you're positive about anything, you're going to be labeled a shill. So, hey, proud shill.
Real Star Wars fans hate Star Wars.
Exactly. So that's another bad thing. It's fine. Like, who cares? Dude, like, who cares if you love something? I don't get why it's like all this division is happening. The Force show. Say this. No, sorry.
No, you're fine. No, part of it is the inspiration and creativity for me that I want to be able to create with my page. Community is really important to me because I'm very much an introvert, very shy, and so I want to be able to use my page to not only push myself, but also to welcome others to use their voice and collab and connect with other people and build friendships. And that's what I love about coming to these conventions is meeting new people and being able to share our love for Star Wars, but also being able to bond over all of our similarities and all of our differences. So, just a safe space for everyone.
Talking about, kind of echoing off of Tiara saying safe space, and Hilda, what you shared, thank you for sharing that. I think that's really important. All of you are creators and in the Star Wars space and in other fandoms too. But there are a lot of different personalities and types of fans. And with that can come challenges. And having a public presence, and especially as women, there are some people that always don't have the best intentions when interacting with other people on the internet or in conventions or in public. I just want to discuss and bring awareness to online safety and safety in fandom. Is there anything that you guys kind of want to touch on that? Boundaries.
Get a great lawyer. From my experience, and Gabe knows this, sometimes I think he needs some context. I think with people sometimes being very cruel on the internet, you sometimes just have to ignore. And then if it gets too severe, you just either hit them with a cease and desist or just move on. But
yeah, it's really, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna kind of piggyback because it's very similar to what I was gonna say in terms of, in my opinion, unless it is something that is like threatening someone's life, the people, at least on the internet, like if people are commenting, they are doing this to get a rise out of you. They're not doing this because it's their favorite Saturday activity, maybe it is. But they're doing this because they want to invoke some sort of negative reaction. They want to fight you. And unless it's something that you're like concerned about someone's like actual safety, or you like really need to like get rid of this, like the best thing to do is to not engage, in my opinion. Unless, again, there's obviously exceptions, but if someone's just saying something stupid and mean for the sake of being stupid and mean, they want to hear from you. And I just think that you've got to like kind of be able to like, it's hard to put yourself out there, it's hard to put yourself on the internet. And in my opinion, it's just, they have nothing better to do with their lives, and they're just bitter people, and you should surround yourself with positive, amazing people.
The hate fuels me. It makes me stronger.
No, yeah, it does. No, I'm kidding. It's been tough. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the hate gets to me. It really does. Because I do this all because I love it. I mean, it's my lifeblood. Star Wars is my lifeblood, and doing what I love is my lifeblood, and sharing it and making people feel comfortable that, oh my God, Shin and Malin just walking, I love my cosplays. Yeah, like I love, it is my lifeblood. It truly fuels me. And to see somebody take me out of context or take my positivity for certain things out of context, it's not a good feeling. It's not good at all. But when I remember that like there are people that love it and they outweigh the minority, it feels good when you have like your own community sticking up for you in those moments. And what's funny is I posted about on YouTube like my love for the Acolyte initially, and I did love so cool. I loved the first episode. I thought it was great, and then like I posted about it, and then like eventually like I ended up ultimately like being it was okay, but I wasn't like hating on it, but I was getting comments calling me the worst things in the world. I mean, I was getting threats, I was getting videos made about me calling me like, chill, cancel her, she's awful.
For having a whole opinion?
For having an opinion. And yeah, and it was, I was like, at first I was like, yeah, whatever. And then it just kept happening. And to this day, I'm still getting comments that are like, you're a disgrace to that Star Wars. I'm like, come on. Like, I said I liked, come on, the lightsaber battles in episode 5 were so sick in that show. I thought it was great. But like, there were things, of course, I didn't like about it, but it's not that's not who I am. Like, you can't, it's not my personality, yeah. And if it is, that is totally fine. Like, you're allowed to like the Acolyte, you're allowed to not like it, you're allowed to not like the sequels, you're allowed to, but when it gets personal, it's like, we've lost the plot, we've lost the point. Yeah, it's tough, but what's funny is in conventions, everyone I've met has been nice. Like, people to your face, you meet some of the nicest people here, and there's never anybody that's like, I'm like, oh, did you like Rise of Skywalker? No, I didn't like it. Okay, yeah, totally. Me too, yeah, it was okay. Did you like the Acolyte? I did. Yeah, me too, it was great. And on the internet, it's like, chill, you suck, this, that, and it's like, it's when people are behind an anonymous thing, it's interesting.
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors, exactly.
Yeah, it's easy to say things when you're not face to face with somebody.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember too that like what we say online can also embolden other people that don't have good intentions for like not good behavior in person. And so just like being aware that like some people more than others are more concerned for their safety. I'm a small woman, like, you know, like it's intimidating sometimes to think that like someone could be following. I mean, that happens. Like I know people that have had stalkers and different things like that. And so it's one of those things where like our words matter. And so I think it's very important to be careful to an extent of what we say online, because someone can take that and feel like, okay, that means that I can take this action into public too.
Which is crazy because nothing we say can condone that. You know, it's not our fault. It's the people who are doing that. Like, follow me, I dare you. You know, it's fine. But no, it's just like you said, they feel emboldened when it's like, they're behind a wall and they think they can, we have cease and desist, we have addresses, we can,
I think an important thing to touch on with this discussion is the parasocial relationships.
Yes.
Which is tricky because I totally understand people who have felt like they maybe didn't have friends growing up. I was in that same category. I ate lunch alone in the hallway. So I understand that, being excited, seeing someone that, you felt like, oh, I really like this person and they like the same stuff. Like, I think if we met, we would be good friends. And I think that can be harmless, right? But on the other hand, I think it's important to remember, and not just with like creators, but also with celebrities, is that you may know everything about them. You may know their favorite song and their eye color and their birthday and their favorite movie. But keep in mind, they know absolutely nothing about you. So there is a kind of difference in how familiar you are with someone. And I think obviously it's wonderful to meet creators. I also love meeting other creators. But one of the things that I will say, and like again, I think sometimes it's harmless, sometimes it's not, and I've experienced this as someone who was at a booth. I'm kind of stationary, I'm not just like running around at a con. Please don't be a shark and do laps. Please, you know, like I'm sure some of you guys maybe when you guys table experience that, but like don't be afraid to talk to people. Just come up, introduce yourself, you know, say your username, that helps a lot because not everyone shares a name. Say hi, but don't just walk by 5 times and like don't know like we see you. You know, like we see you. So I think just say. But I think like just be normal. Like we're all people, we're all just normal people, we're all friendly, you know.
I love meeting people.
Yeah,
Like there's so many times when people message me and it's like, hi, I saw you, and I love the talk. I was like, oh, get over here. I'm a freaking weirdo. Let's chat. Like,
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, pictures without your permission is something that's weird to me.
no pictures while we're eating on the floor.
Cosplay is not consent.
Yeah, some bad photos of me eating.
Yeah, and what we say with celebrities too, like, they're kind, they love meeting their fans. They're also being paid to be here and to be nice. So don't mistake that for a parasocial friendship that doesn't exist. So, yeah. Anybody else want to add anything to that?
I just want to talk about boundaries, like for yourself. Like if you choose to make a page for yourself and step out into this fandom, make sure you go into it having boundaries for yourself. Like if someone is attacking you online, how much are you going to engage with that person, or if you're just not going to engage with that person at all? Because it's very energy consuming, and to just be aware of that as well. And also making public statements like on your page saying like, hey, I'm okay with this if I see you at a convention, and or you're not going to.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important too. So I think maybe 2 more questions before we wrap things up. So with how we were talking about these type of things, but how do you want to see Star Wars move forward? And specifically with characters that help with, you know, representing different parts of the fandom.
Well, I'm really excited for the new mall show that they're doing. I'm glad we're getting more Rey, because I feel like in the sequels we didn't get her fully fleshed out. It's like we had time, but they didn't give her enough time to do that, in my opinion. Not malicious.
Opinions are okay.
Opinions are okay. Yeah, so I'm excited for her movie. I'm excited to see more, like, post Rise of Skywalker, post. She needs more. She needs more. I'm sure we can agree. If we don't, that's fine. That's fine not to agree. So I'm excited to move forward. I would say, I hope they can move forward in a way where we're seeing new things. Like I liked The Acolyte in the sense that it was new and there was like we got a lot of new stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for more animation. Like animation in Star Wars is like a huge thing, and yeah, that's what I was. No, you're good.
I mean, I love the diversity in which they're bringing out projects. I feel like they're doing, like, again, a lot of animation, a lot of live action. I think Andor is not only one of the best Star Wars shows to ever exist, but one of the best shows to ever exist. And I think it was absolutely stunning. It felt like it could have been on any streaming platform, and if you'll be a part of any fandom and you could have enjoyed this. It was so beautifully done, the characters. I want more character-driven stories like Andor. I'll wrap that up now.
I guess to piggyback off of you, yeah, I want more writing. I want more story writing like Andor was. I probably cried almost every other episode because of how impactful that whole show was. So yeah, just more writing for Star Wars. More writing.
And with Andor, I just want to say as a woman, I felt very seen in a lot of it because the experiences that those women have with pressure, with their jobs, with uncomfortable, not good situations that we get put in. Yes, it touched on that so well, and I really am glad that that was touched on in Star Wars, because women's stories belong in Star Wars.
Yeah, I also really love Andor because of the representation. My friend Robbie told me a story that when Andor first came out, his dad started crying because he saw representation on the screen. And I really love that for Star Wars and us moving forward. You can see more Latin American actors and actresses on screen. It was amazing for me, for Robbie, for our parents. So,
I may be biased because I love Padme. I would like a name drop at least. We've got mentions of her with her children in Kenobi. I think they're intimidated to tell her story or continue her story because she is such a unique and like determined and elegant. She's sexy, but she's also smart. I think she's one of my favorite characters. I really hope we can see, it doesn't need to be like a flashback, I don't need a whole thing, but like, please mention her by name. Like, she helped found the rebellion. That scene was cut from Revenge of the Sith, I'll always respect it, but I just wish we could have more recognition of her. I think she deserves more, especially when we have shows like Kenobi, they're about prequel characters. And their children, so we'll see. I'd also love, like, this is just my personal recommendation, Star Wars if you're listening, but I would love to see an animated Handmaidens story.
I want a Handmaidens story
I think that would be so good. Like, right before the Battle of Naboo, or maybe, like Episode 1, Episode 2 era. There's so much to be told there. Also, no one really talks about that Palpatine is from Naboo.
Yeah.
And that's such a big part of Padme's story. Palpatine is the reason that that Padme even gets into politics. He kind of nudges her towards joining like the, the Young Senators like Academy thing. And that's huge, and the Battle of Naboo is what starts this kind of the culmination of this 1,000-year plan. So like, come on, we can have Palpatine politics, we can have Sith, we can, there's so much they can do, it doesn't just have to be the girls, but I would love to see that.
I want to see Palpatine in kindergarten. I just want to touch before we wrap up, because I know we're doing for minutes. I know for a fact that we're in great hands in the future of Star Wars. Like, we have people here that help make it, Matthew Wood, David Collins, incredible people who work on this film, and I think we don't give them enough credit. So a round of applause to people who are making this film.
Did you want to touch on that too? Okay. Okay, all right. Well, thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed this panel. And thank you, ladies, for being a part of this. I have a little something for each of you. But yeah, welcome to Rebel Scum Con, right? At the end of my podcast, we are luminous beings, and we're not just this crude matter, so go be luminous beings and make a positive impact. So, thank you guys.